They're on. Okay, welcome back to the Cooking Leprechaun. I know it's been a little bit of time since we've done a video, and it was because of the assignments that I was doing. I didn't really think that it would make a good video. We were doing egg cookery, which was doing like cooking fried eggs and things like that. So if you want me to do that, put something in the comments and I'll go back and I'll show you the different types of eggs that we've cooked. Last couple assignments, we've gotten 100 again. So we're going to go into this sandwich here. This is the Monte Cristo that we're going to build. And I've eaten this before in a restaurant, and it was named Bennigan's. And so I found their recipe and I'm going to try to recreate it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the egg in there. And 1 1/4 cups of water, or I'm sorry, 2 1/4 cups of water. And right now we're just making the batter to dip the sandwich in. Some baking powder, sugar. Oh, it didn't want to come out. Salt. Mix that in. And then the last to our batter is 1 1/2 cups of flour. And we're going to beat until smooth. Alright, so that looks nice and smooth. So we'll move on to the production of the sandwich. So we have our 2 pieces of bread. This is Italian bread. Have a slice of cooked ham and a slice of turkey. And we're going to go with the cheese. We got Swiss cheese. And we have American cheese. And that's the construction of the sandwich. And then we're just going to put some toothpicks in there to hold it together while we're dipping it and frying it. Okay, while we're waiting for our oil to actually cool down, I'm going to go ahead and go into the other thing that we have to make, and it's a pretty simple thing. It's potato chips. So I have a 1/2 pound of russet potatoes, and we're just going to peel them. I'm going to place that one in some water while I peel this one. I'm sure you could leave the skins on if you would like the chip to have a little bit of skin on it. It probably would not hurt. So both of them are peeled, and put them in the water. The reason why we put them in the water is that keeps it from browning. So now we need to cut them, and we're going to cut them in small 1/16 of an inch, so that's pretty thin. back in the water. And get our second one out. And when you get really close, you can save your fingers, and you can use that potato for stocks or something else. Shred it up. And I believe that is as far as I'm going to go with that. And we're going to put those back in the water. And we are good for getting the potato chips ready. Okay. All right, so we have our potato chips or our potatoes cut. Of course, we're going to take them out of the water, pat them dry, and the reason for that is because oil and water does not mix, and we would have a mess. So now we're going to drop these in. The temperature of the oil is 350 degrees. And we're looking for just a little bit of brownness on it. It's not going to get really deep brown. All right, as you can see, they're nice golden brown, so we're going to remove them and put them onto a paper towel to drain. And we're going to want to season these while there's still stuff to hold the salt on. All right, I'll finish up the batch and we'll go into the Monte Cristo. Okay, so now we're ready to fry the sandwich, but before that we're going to put it into the batter, and we want to make sure that we get all sides covered with the batter. All right, shake off the excess, and we're going to drop it in the fryer. And then we're just waiting for it to become golden brown. All right, we're going to pull this one out of the oil, and we're going to want to drain it for a little bit, and we also want to let it cool before we pull out the toothpicks. But let me do the other two, and then we'll taste test it. Okay, so now we're at the point of tasting the Monte Cristo and the potato chips. So, as you can see, my lovely wife, she loves to do this. So, go ahead and taste them. right, there you have it. The last thing that we'll be tasting is the Vichyssoise once we get it finished. Okay, so now we're going into the final recipe, and it is Vichyssoise. So this is a cold potato and leek soup, and if you haven't seen what a leek looks like, it's what it looks like at the grocery store. And what we do is they're very dirty inside, so we cut these really thin, and then you're just going to break them apart into the small rings and let them soak in water. And soaking in the water actually has the dirt go down to the bottom, so then they're all clean and we're ready to go. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to bring these over and sweat the leeks in the pot. So we're going to add some butter and let that melt. I'm going to start adding the leeks. All I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them, rinse them out a little bit, or let them drain, and then put them in the pan. Alright, we'll let those sweat for a little bit and then we'll come back. Alright, we have the leeks all sweated down now. We're going to add in our potatoes. And we kept those potatoes in water, just like what we did for the potato chips, so that they didn't turn brown or ugly. And then we're going to add stock. And this is chicken stock. Mix that around a little bit. And then we're going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, so now we have it up to a boil, and what we're going to do now is we're going to bring it down to a simmer and let it cook to get the vegetables nice and soft, so that we can use the immersion blender to puree them. Okay, as you can see, they've broken down and the vegetables are soft. So now we're going to use an immersion blender and get it to the consistency that we're looking for. So. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do before we cool this is we're going to put it through a fine mesh sieve. We're just going to push it through. Okay, as you can see, we have a nice smooth consistency now, pretty silky. But what we want to do is we want to put it down into an ice bath to chill it really quickly. And you can stir this to keep it or rather mixing it around so that you don't have any hot spots. And you just do this until you can get it cold enough to be able to put it in your refrigerator. And yes, you serve this cold. So we're gonna let it cool down and we'll get it in a refrigerator and then we'll do the final touches on it. Okay, so now we have the soup chilled. It's about 35 degrees. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add some heavy cream in. And that's nice and cold as well. And that was 7 ounces of heavy cream. Just going to stir that in. Dip in a spoon. Taste it. See if we need any seasoning. We'll put a little bit of pepper in there. And this is white pepper. And a little bit of salt. And that should be it. The next thing we'll be doing is tasting. Okay, so we're at the tasting portion. So here's the final dish. And now the moment of truth.
That actually tastes good.
All right, I guess cold soup is good. We'll see you next week.